Join us.
Right here.
Join us. Wow, here we go. Look at that.
Here, Holly. You can share my blankie.
Now you get the comfy headphones.
Everybody, welcome back to this week's episode, part 2 of Pros and Cons.
Yes.
And as you can see, Wonder Dog is back with us. And I'm still wearing, as it's part 2, we shot this the same night, the Holly socks.
Perfect.
So let's dig right on in.
Holly's pumped. She's ready.
That's called a con, Holly. That's the con. That's not
Don't leave us.
There we are. Okay.
Okay.
Morgan's getting dialed in.
Yeah, you guys started without me. I wasn't even ready.
Oh, we're just so excited.
I know.
Yeah.
These pros and cons list ones have really stressed me out. These are very complex little problems. And the Patreon we just did.
Well, the good thing about this is that the whole show really is about, going to Dad and asking him his thoughts. So
Yeah.
we're giving you the thought, and then you guys, typical of working with parents, you give us your thoughts. So
Yeah.
it really works well.
Yeah.
So there's no right or wrong. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
All right, dig in.
Okay. Well,
Also, please don't forget, press that subscribe button. It really does help us, and I want to see us really grow and get to where we can get to. So again, subscribe.
And not just on YouTube. If you're listening on any audio platform, hit the subscribe there as well.
And don't forget to put the B in subscribe.
Yeah. And hit the little bell too. Love those notifications.
number 1.
Number 1.
Hi, Jerry. I just wanted to say that I love your podcast and I really think you can give me advice with my problem.
Well, let's give it a shot.
For context, I, 24 female, and my husband, 25 male, started our family 2 years ago, and 1 year ago, we decided to move from Puerto Rico to Germany and start our lives together there. Most of our family lives in Puerto Rico or the States, so it was surprising for everyone when we told them that we were going to live in Germany. My husband is in the Air Force, so that's why we are here for not that long. They are constantly moving. The issue is that we recently had a vacation trip to Puerto Rico, and the family was telling us that we should move to the States because it is easier for them to visit. I was feeling a bit nostalgic about that because I feel alone here and I used to be around my family and friends, and here I only have 2 or 3 friends. But I also love Germany. It's a really beautiful place to live, and the opportunity we have for traveling with the kids is also really nice. So my question is, what should I do about this? Should I listen to my family or should I stay a little bit longer here in Europe? My husband told me that the decision is going to be mine, but I know he wants to stay here. I also love living here, but I also think about my family and friends, and I do not know what to do. Ideal outcome, making the right decision, and also don't want to feel guilty about it. Additional info, I have 2 kids, a 2-year-old and 1 8 months, and they are the first grandchildren to both sides. Other thing is that my mother-in-law did visit us last Christmas, and I think that my mom is going to visit this one. So it's not that I never have visits from family.
Well, I'm going to chime in with this one. And I'd really believe this, and that's even applies to you guys. Because one day you're going to be in the same situation. Do we live in the same city as dear old Dad, or are we going to live apart and have to do this long distance thing? The reality is this is you and your husband's life. And as much as parents, me too, want to be involved, it is really important that you guys do what's best for you and your family, and you have an opportunity to get culture and to see these different values in the world. And when your kids come to the United States or Puerto Rico, because you're part of the United States still, that you're going to see all this different culture. And once you get this culture, it really helps bring them to be the best wine, if you want to call it that way, as possible. It gives them time to age and get all the different flavors into them and really become amazing people because they have this culture that they may not have got simply by living in the U.S. Europe does have, a couple thousand years of culture. I mean, it's definitely there. There's history. And, a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old can't suck that history yet. But as they learn these languages and they become multilingual, because they're going to certainly know Spanish from Puerto Rico, they're going to know English because of being part of, the English language. They might know German, so they're especially on Deutsch. They're going to know a little bit about possibility Italian and French. This is all going to be part of their culture as they grow. And it'll be so important because these kids suck it up.
They're little sponges.
At this age, they learn languages like it's nothing. And our language ability of learning starts curtailing, I think, at like 6 or 7 if we don't start taking
It's young.
I mean, it is young.
It's really young.
So, you got to take all this in consideration, and certainly you got to make sure that your parents can come visit you. And I'm hoping that there are certain programs that gets parents to come back to the Air Force Base and be able to visit their family on visits. That would be important. And I would not want to see that your grandparents deny to know the grandchildren. That's also very important. So again, I'm glad your husband said this is your decision and you get to do what you want. He's glad to go along whatever you want to do, but you have something I sense something in you is not ready to leave quite yet. So if you're not ready to leave, you don't have to leave. But also take in consideration your family's desire to know the grandchildren and wanted to spend more time, and you guys can figure that one out as you're working through this. But you got a long life ahead of you, and you have many, many years of watching these kids grow, and you have some fundamentals that they can suck in with these languages, and I find that to really be important.
Oh my God, yeah. We were talking about that, or I was talking about that, maybe with you when we went and got our pedicures the other day. But I was saying I wish that I would have gone to some sort of language immersion school instead of, what I did growing up, because learning a language is I'm just so envious of people that are fluent in 2 languages, 3 languages, 4 or 5. I mean, it's incredible. And
we had this conversation?
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit because I think at the nail salon when we got our pedicures, I was like, if when, I have kids, I'd love to send them to a language immersion school where they're automatically getting taught.
Apparently I didn't pay attention that day because I don't remember this conversation.
Yeah, this was at the nail salon down the street.
I don't remember this conversation at all.
Because you were asking the lady that was doing your feet what language she spoke, and she said Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
So you were like, oh, I only speak English. Like, I'm dumb. And I was like, yeah, you are dumb because you only know one language. And so I just think it's so incredible. Like, I hear your story and I'm like, do you want to adopt Justin and me so we can come live in Germany? Like,
how many languages do you speak?
Me?
Yeah.
1.
I speak Deutsch. Ich spreche in Deutsch. Ja, wir sind das drüben, das ist ein Feind von mir.
Da.
That was German 1, by the way, and I did both parts.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this one? What are your thoughts, Justin? I did want to say, you can always move home. It's so easy to move home. So let it come naturally. Don't move ahead of time.
I think that's the key. I think that's the key to this whole thing. Like, just stay for a while. Stay. The kids are super young too.
They're so young. The grandparents, they want the kids when they're fun, like kindergarten age, and they don't have to change their diapers. Like, you enjoy Germany.
Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely pros and cons, but
oh yeah,
there's a lot of pros to saying.
Oh yeah.
And you can catch up on all that time when you get back.
And I say just make the decision that you want to make and don't be manipulated by people.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, as long as everyone's in good health and, there's not, like, obviously life happens and unexpected things can occur with family members, but as long as everyone's in good health, like, there's no rush to get home. People can continue to visit. You could also go back to the States or Puerto Rico and visit. I mean, there's so many different ways you could flip the coin on who goes back and forth and stuff. So I would say soak up the culture and being able to travel. I mean, you can get flights from London to Germany for $35. It's just, you have such an opportunity to experience so much, so many amazing things. So I wouldn't be in a rush to get back.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. What do we got next?
Okay. Number two.
Number two.
Oh,
by the way, dose.
Amazing.
That's Spanish.
Well,
What's German?
dry.
Oh. Hello, everyone. I recently found out that I, 20 female, am pregnant.
Woo!
Parentheses, all caps. No coffee for 8 months. I'm so sad.
Fuck.
I kind of have two small problems I need help with. The first is dealing with my boyfriend, 21 male. He's a great guy, but he is set on having me move in with his family, but his dad doesn't at all like me. I've tried to convince him that I'm okay living alone, but he's worried about something happening to me. The second one is a little more complex. I don't speak to my mom and have very little contact with my dad. I have 8 siblings and only about 2 are in contact with me. I was always the unwanted kid, so my grandparents took me in when I was about 5 months and raised me. I'm just struggling on if I should reach out to my family and let them know that I'm pregnant. At the same time, my dad is creepy with girls, so I'm worried I'd be putting my baby in danger. There's a lot of other background stuff, but I hope this is enough detail. Thank you for helping me out. Ideal outcome, have a solution that will hopefully be the best for my baby. I'm Mexican, so my family has a motto where no matter what, we all should stick together. And let me know if you need any more details.
Wow. There's a bunch of stuff here. I'm glad I actually heard this one twice. The first thing that you said is that you are glad to live by yourself and you don't have to go move in with anybody. And the fact that you want to move in by yourself, I think is great. If you're comfortable with him and you want a relationship with him, with the father, that he can move in with you, that's great. You guys can do it on your own terms. You don't have to go to someone else's house if that's not where you're comfortable. As far as involving your family and knowing that you're pregnant and you're now at the part of where you're past the first trimester and things are going well, to bring all this emotion in, your grandparents raised you. And your grandparents might be very frustrated if they find out that, and hurt if you don't tell them because they're so close to you, because they did raise you. And that might be something that you have to make that determination on when and how to share that with them, because having a baby is amazing. It does all kinds of things for healthy families, and for unhealthy families, yeah, there's drama that comes in with that. And I get that. So that all being said, process this really appropriately within your own thing about how you let your, the people that are important to you in your family know that you're going to be going through this experience and you want them to know about it and you're excited about it and you'd like to include them in your excitement. Because I don't sense anywhere here that this is fear on your part, negativity. You are happy that you're pregnant, it seems, which I think is wonderful. I mean, you're going to you get to go through the experience that I went through.
Hell is what he went through. Yeah.
But they make you proud. They do. It's the most wonderful thing, and this is a life-changing moment for you. So enjoy every aspect of this. And as far as your father being a creepy guy and keeping your father, I got that because there was, people in, Morgan's family that I was worried about. And I never I tried not to let anyone have her by themselves if I had any doubt. Mm-hmm. And, I was there. So if you feel or sense any of that, by all means, you make sure you protect your child at all costs.
Absolutely. There's an alarming statistic that most sexual assaults... Family. Especially children.
Family.
No doubt. It's family or someone that's close. And It's not worth it. Don't leave your kids alone with people, even people you think you trust. Like, just watch out for your little kiddos because you're their advocate and all they have. And I think to start, like, if you don't want to move in with your boyfriend's family, like, don't move in with your boyfriend's family. I know me personally, I think that's what like really stood out to me as being like kind of the main issue here because like, yeah, maybe tell your grandparents if you're close with them, but otherwise like no one needs to really know. Just I'm really good with like info diets. I think kind of like less is more with like people sometimes. So you don't have to go out of your way to tell family you're not close with. But for me, the biggest issue that kind of stood out is like moving in with your boyfriend's family, especially because his dad doesn't like you. And even with people that do like you, like I'm going to use Justin's mom, for example. Like Justin's mom is great. She makes staying with her comfortable. It's, you know, we do our own thing. It's kind of come and go as you please, but yet we have good times together. But at the same time, like I'm still a guest. And as much as I love staying there, you can only be a guest in someone else's home for so long. And with a newborn, you're going to want your own space. You're going to want to be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want. And I'm sorry, you would have to drag me by my hair to get me to live with someone, especially someone that doesn't like me. So if your boyfriend wants to live with you because he's like concerned about something happening, like try to find a place that's affordable for you both and make that arrangement. But I definitely don't think you should be pressured into moving in with his family just because he's worried something's going to happen. That's, you know, shit happens all the time.
I got one little addition.
Okay.
And then we're going to hand it to Justin.
Okay.
The one addition that I have is that if you feel any problem and trepidation, including your family because of the emotional drain they might put upon you, I absolutely say that your pregnancy is the most important thing in your health. Don't invite issues if you know there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
You know, your grandparents, I don't think there's an issue from at least the fact that you said that they raised you, and I think you feel some kind of love there. But whatever it is, don't put yourself in harm's way, especially during your pregnancy. Well,
and there was the one comment too where it was like under the additional info where she said, like, I'm Mexican, and like the family motto is like, no matter what happens, like your family. Mm-hmm. And I think that's bullshit. I think a lot of cultures do that. A lot of, you know, Finnish families did that. A lot of Jewish families did that with you know, your uncle that was creepy and molested his kids. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's kind of a lot of people lived by that. Well, they're family. Fuck them. Fuck them. If they're shitty family, they're not your family. Your chosen family is what's more important than fuck family if family isn't good for you.
You need to protect yourself. That's all
exactly.
I can protect your children. That's what you're there for right now because that's your job.
Yeah.
And protect yourself. Absolutely.
I think we find a lot of stories, write-ins, people that are afraid to break kind of this preset tradition. Oh, this is just the way it is. This is how we've always done it. This is like, there's no other options. And I think we live in a world that's starting to challenge that kind of thinking, especially in the last couple generations where you can be the first person to break that chain. And kind of, I'm using that saying from the last episode, just like it's probably the hardest to be the first person to kind of break that tradition, that mold that's been going on forever, but you can. And things will still work out. And yeah, I mean, your child comes first, and then comes your mental, physical happiness, well-being. And I think you just got to make the decision that's going to lead to that. And if you already know, I don't want to live in this house where this guy already doesn't like me, then don't. Mm-hmm. And yes, it is very hard, again, to break the tradition, especially when it's cultural, especially when it's within the family. But sometimes they need to be broken.
A lot of pros and cons here. I mean, moving in with his family, you would maybe have some built-in babysitters. Pro. Con, you brought a screaming baby into the house. His dad could hate you more. I mean, that's a tough one, but
Go with your gut feeling.
Go with your gut. And
Yeah.
if you, like, again, anything can happen. Something can happen walking down the street, driving to the grocery store. So your boyfriend being worried, like, that is very nice. I appreciate him looking out for you, but I would not be moving in. No way.
Okay. So keep us in the loop.
Yes.
Moving on to the next one.
Okay. Number 3.
3.
Hi, Morgan.
It's race.
German.
Oh, German? Just try. Phi. Oh, wait. Gimel. Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
What?
We're playing with multiple languages.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, you fact checked his German?
Yeah.
That's good. You better get ready for number 4.
Okay.
Think
All
about
right.
it.
Well, this is number 3.
Okay.
Hi, Morgan, Jerry, and Justin. I have an internal dilemma that I could really use an outside opinion on. Basically, I, female, 21, and my boyfriend, male, 21, have been together for almost 3 years. And even though we have our ups and downs, he is the love of my life. About 2 weeks ago, he quit his job. We work in the same field but different places of business. My job currently needs someone in the department he works in, and even though I was hesitant, I told him to apply. Now, he is supposed to have an interview with my boss tomorrow. I have never worked with my significant other, and I'm really nervous about the whole thing. I've been trying to be a supportive girlfriend. I've even talked him up to my boss. I don't want to hold him back from a great opportunity, regardless of how I feel. I guess what I'm getting at is, should I feel so anxious and scared to work with my BF, or am I just overanalyzing and causing myself stress? Ideal outcome. Even if we end up working together or not, that nothing changes for us in our relationship. Additional info, my boyfriend and I met in school while we were training for our field.
Well, my feeling is that this could be a wonderful experience, and it could be hell. So here's the way. I mean, obviously, in your field, you have your specialty in what you're doing, and he is being hired to do something in your department. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically, she said we work in the same field but different places of business. So it's the same field, but it's like they need someone in the department he works in at her.
So at least different departments.
Yeah. So I mean, he's gonna be in his own little world over there doing his job, and you're going to be in your world doing your job. And I have to tell you, think about the people that actually met on the job, where they respected each other and they loved working together, and they've flourished. So it's not always negative. This is about security, how secure you are with what you know, how secure what he knows, and how you guys certainly don't, try to disrespect each other within what your work is. That's really where it is. You might even have a lot of fun with this. There's benefits and there's cons. It's on the maturity of the couple and how they deal with it. So if you guys can respect each other's space and find those governing guidelines before he shows up for his first day, and say what's going to be acceptable about talking about our work, because also you want to be able to have your romance side. I mean, Morgan and Justin, you guys work together. He's got. Yeah. I mean, he certainly has his own gig, but you have your gig, but you guys also work together as well.
Yeah.
And has it been bad?
No.
I mean, sometimes you might have.
I really wanted to give the people a fair answer, so I thought. No, it's been good.
I mean, I work with my daughter right now, and let me tell you, sometimes I may have an idea, and the first time when I'd have ideas, that I got kiboshed. But I realized...
Well, some of your ideas just aren't very good.
Of course, they're horrible ideas. I mean, I only know something. I don't know everything.
But we listen.
But,
most days.
The thing is that, now I think she's more secure with what she's doing, and she, actually lets me speak. It's nice.
Okay, I'm not that bad.
So we're gonna have a lot of fun.
I'm just type A.
We're gonna have a lot of fun on the comments.
No. Oh,
So it could be a beautiful thing and it could be a mess. It just depends on your maturities, how you guys can get along, and defining the rules together about how we're going to deal with working together and our romantic side. So hopefully you have a great time, and you'll grow one way or the other. So if it's really meant to, if it might push the level. If there's going to be a problem, it might exacerbate it, make it quicker, accelerate the problem. And you'll know quick that you don't belong together. Otherwise, it could become the best thing in the world.
yeah.
So I say go for it. Go for it and enjoy.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I think as long as you just like establish good boundaries going in, like obviously, like you want him to get the job, you want him to succeed. So I do like, I see why you're tussling with yourself, because it's kind of like, I live by the motto, like don't shit where you eat. So I do see the dilemma here, but I think as long as you set solid boundaries going into it, like, hey, please don't talk about me and what we're doing outside of work with coworkers. Like I try to keep things private, or whatever boundaries you want for yourself. I think, set those and have a conversation ahead of time. But I think it'll be good. Like I've worked at a couple different jobs now where people were dating, engaged, or already married. And like one of the ones, they were engaged, and I didn't even know for like 3 weeks of being there. And then they sat together at lunch one day and I was like, oh, and then they were like, yeah, so for the wedding, I actually just called blah, blah, blah for catering. And I was like, oh, they're engaged. Wow, okay. I'm either very slow or they're just very professional. So I think there's so many different ways you can make it. But I think like you said, it could be really fun. Like I think it'd be fun if like we worked at the same like actual office together and like, oh, do you want to go get lunch with me today? Like it could be so fun.
I think there's ups and downs, pros and cons to the whole thing, because I think there is something to separation and is something to having your own space and your own life, such as your own career, that isn't intermixed, in the sense that you can come home and be super excited about this promotion. I think there's a lot of dynamics where, yes, there's a lot of positives that can be really cool, but there's also a lot of things, which I think is why she's scared, such as, oh, you got promoted and I didn't, or there's a job opening and we're both contenders. Oh, we have to work together on this project, but we kind of like, part of it kind of pins us against each other in a weird way, where we have to like awkwardly kind of put someone in their place, even though they're my boyfriend, husband, whatever. What I was going to say is like, I respect this girl because she's putting these fears aside to say, hey, there's a really amazing opportunity.
That is true.
I believe in this partnership so strongly that I'm willing to risk all of these potential, like, because when I was initially reading it, honestly, I was like, wow, there's a lot of cons to this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's putting those aside and saying, no, I think this could be great for you. I think this could be great for us. I'm putting myself aside, my fears aside, and like setting this up for you and pushing you into this. Not pushing you into this, but like she's talking you up to the boss. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she's got it in the bag for him.
So I don't think you're overanalyzing. I think your stress is natural, and I think it's necessary because it means you care about this job and about this relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of scary aspects to this, but I mean, as you guys said, it's case by case. So it's very successful for some and may not be for others.
I know 44 or 45 years ago, my brother went to work at a law firm, and he just got out of law school at that time. And there was a woman that was working there that was in charge of their paralegal department. And she was a little, senior his age, but, they caught eyes. And before you know it, nobody in the place knew, but they were dating. They were doing their thing. And it's 45 years later. They have 2 children on their own. They have 3 grandchildren together. And they've been together and have had a beautiful life together. And they've both been in the legal profession. They both respect each other for what their knowledge is. And it worked out just fine.
Yeah.
And he found his person. And I love the fact that they both found their person and they're together and they have a wonderful life together. They really built a beautiful, beautiful life.
Yeah.
So
I think I really appreciate that story. Thank you, Scotty and Mickey. I I think what you said though is so true about like all of the fears. Like all of these fears are very valid. Like you could easily get him a job there and it could be a complete disaster. But I think like the best thing for right now, like obviously you've recommended him. It's too late. The cart is already going down the hill.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing right now would literally be like write down all your fears. Write down everything you're scared about and just sit down and have a conversation with him. Because I mean, you guys they're engaged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like they're planning a life together. They're very engaged. No, just dating. Okay, so they're dating. Like you should be comfortable enough with your partner to at least just say, hey, I'm nervous about these things. Can we talk about this? Like, when you get the job, blah, 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 blah. Let's set some boundaries, this and that. Like, that's a very easy conversation to have and just be open and honest and set good boundaries and you'll be
and if you
good.
look at it as a team, like if you frame your reference, which it has to be from both of you,
Yeah.
but look through the lens of being a team. And this becomes a lot less pressure, a lot less scary. Like we're doing it for us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
for both of us to succeed at work
Yeah.
and not create a hostile work environment or get sick of each
Well,
other.
let me ask you this question: Should they also deal with the contingency in their conversation? What happens if we don't work out? Are we going to be responsible and respect each other's place?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
So-
it's like dating within a friend group. That's what I kind of compare it to is that you have a lot of these people debating, like I'm in love with this person, but I can't tell them because I'm scared of wrecking the whole friend group. Or, if we break up, then the whole dynamic is messed up. So you're bringing that into, it's kind of the same thing, but just in a work setting.
It is. Yeah, for sure.
I'd say just continue to have start with mutual respect for one another and proud of each other for your accomplishments there, and I think you'll be fine.
I agree.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, I got to take a deep breath, a couple of them, because this is probably one of the longest reads we've ever had on the show.
Wow.
Okay,
So don't get bored, don't fall asleep.
I'm not. I'm wide
Number
awake.
quattro.
Number 4.
Really?
What's German?
Fear.
Number 4.
Eins, drei. Fear.
Good job.
Dos, tres, cuatro.
I already said quattro, bitch. That
Oh,
was
by
mine.
the way, and 4.
Justin said 4.
Okay.
Justin's got English. I got Spanish. You got German and Hebrew.
I got the two of you.
Are we ready? Are we settled?
Yeah.
We're calming down.
Yeah.
Hi, Jerry, Morgan, and Justin. Why am I always third? I have a very interesting family dynamic going on. For some context that might help is that there are 6 kids in my family. Male 29, male 27, female 23, that's me, female 20, male 19, female 14. 6 kids, 3 are male, 3 are female.
Arranged from what?
14 to 29. My two older brothers have both been divorced and now remarried. Each time they did not pick good partners. One wife cheated and the other wife only wanted a wedding and dipped after a year. They both are much happier now, I guess. My second oldest brother, let's call him Daniel, is living in another state and really does seem happy in his marriage. My oldest brother, Ryan, has married a 28, maybe late 20s, it's 28 ? Female who has tore our family apart. Let's call her Brenda. There are lots of long stories on how she has done this, but the most recent occurrence happened this past week.
Brenda the Basher.
Yes. Daniel sent a group chat message to the family stating his feelings on how Ryan's wedding date is the exact same date as his wedding anniversary. This was a crazy coincidence since Ryan and Brenda were already married, but they are having their ceremony later this year. It was established in the chat by Brenda that she had no idea what he was talking about and how the date was picked over a year ago and how he should grow up. I should also note that during Daniel and Ryan's first engagement/weddings, Daniel got engaged first and Ryan followed right behind, stole the spotlight and did everything around the same time. So Daniel saw this as purposeful, even if it most likely wasn't. Ryan sent a long text following saying how everything stated was absurd and that no one knew what date they were even married and he needed to take his conspiracy BS somewhere. Brenda told Daniel and his wife to, quote, fuck off, and that they were both delusional. Just defensive and just mean right out of the gate. My youngest sibling, who was 14, saw all this and cried to my mom after she woke up that morning. I had chimed in saying how everyone needs to take a breath before typing anything out because everyone just gets so defensive right off the bat and that everyone needs to stop attacking each other. Brenda said that Daniel did the attacking and they should be addressed instead. My mom brought up how the engagements before had lined up and how Daniel was upset by it, and that this is probably just a shock to find out it is happening again. But she also made sure to note that Brenda's original response was great minus the grow up part. Daniel thanked us for the kinder words spoken and that it was just a coincidence and we all moved on except for Brenda. She posted receipts of the dates the ceremony was reserved for and no one responded. She texted my mother separately, telling her how she is enabling such behavior and should have stood up for her and Ryan. She has done this in the past of texting my mom and even me saying how my parents enable shitty behavior. I will also note she just became a mother, so don't text my mom on how to be one. I wanted to text her so bad and go off on her to stop texting my mom and bringing her down, especially because my mom just got out of the hospital after basically getting close to dying. Her hemoglobin dropped to a little above 5.
That's very bad.
And she had several blood clots. She doesn't need any added stress. Daniel should have sent Brenda and Ryan this message separately, but he didn't, and here we are. I just wish Brenda would stop being such an emotional abuser and making everyone's feelings and emotions invalid. She once told me she didn't care about my random boyfriend of 6 months when I mentioned how he almost died during a separate argument when she blocked me and everyone else from all social media. This is a whole other thing. I don't think there's anything I can do except not speak to her, but my parents still want to see their grandson, but there is no relationship outside of that. I did just find out, though, that the baby is a lot less fussy when dropped off by Brenda and Ryan at my parents' house. Really shows maybe she needs someone texting her how to be a better parent. Anyway, I guess my ideal outcome is that she becomes a better person, which likely won't happen. I just wish she'd treat my mom better than she is, and that my mom would find peace. I accidentally put this in the other part, but I guess just for my family to be able to move on and just forget about her, but she's technically family and there is a baby involved, and my brother's clearly brainwashed.
Okay, well, I see this, look, it is a long read, and all I got as we're going through this, and no disrespect to the writer in, is this is just a lot of family drama. Drama. And when you get into this family drama, there's no winning because the person that's causing the drama is, in their mind, is just right. And there's no pleasing this individual. To protect the family dynamic, you just have to understand you're dealing with somebody that is in their own mind, and that's where they are. They're in their own mind. So you can't react to this stuff. You just have to remove yourself from all this reaction. Your fact that your mom's hemoglobin is at 5, that's lethal. You die from that. I mean, I'm sure she's been transfused since then, but she's a sick woman. And she's got a lot of things that she's dealing with all this blood stuff. You guys got to get rid of this drama because one thing that you were right about is it's going to pull on her and her emotion, and she's feeling all this stuff. And she's just got to worry about right now just having, harmony to make things even better. So it would be nice if Brenda would pull her head out of her ass and just say, look, I got issues, with these different people, but I'm going to grow up and look beyond all this stuff because it's all meaningless. You guys have the same date that you got married. One already has the date. It's our anniversary. You're going to get married on this date. Great. Congratulations. If she had 365 children or 366 kids, someone's wedding date's going to overlap. So get over it. It's not the end of the world. I mean, people sometimes have people in the family that 3 kids, 7 years apart, have the same birth date.
I think it was the fact, though, that it felt intentional. Like this brother, the 2 older brothers have both already been married and divorced already.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first time around, the one who's now with Brenda creating all the issues stole the thunder, made it all about him, blah, 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 blah. So I think that was included to the point where, again, it feels very pointed and intentional. And I'm going to be honest, if I found out that my brother, like, oh, you didn't know, honest mistake, I would be changing the day. I wouldn't want the same wedding anniversary as my brother. You're not married yet. They already are. It's again kind of like what you said. Brenda is so fucking all about Brenda that she's like, whatever, it's a coincidence. But I do see where everyone else is annoyed because it does feel very intentional and just
if it's random and they can change the date easily, great, change the date. So you don't have to be a part of the poison person. But in the event that you can't, go have your wedding. That's your life. Pick your date, do your thing.
No, Brenda's the one that still has to get married. So Brenda's the one that could change the date. No fucking way that's happening.
It's not going to happen.
Brenda's a crazy bitch.
She's definitely doing shit to fuck with you guys. So my answer is just put yourself above all of it. Don't let it affect you. And maybe she'll do something. If she sees it's affecting you, she's succeeding. If she sees that it doesn't affect you at all, she may just do something on her own. But you can't keep feeding the beast.
No, I would go very, 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 very low contact. Maybe even no contact. Like, honestly, it sounds like, your mom wants to maintain the relationship so she can know her grandchild. But for you, like, Brenda does nothing for you. I would cut Brenda out. And I think that goes for the rest of your family. Like, it is okay to cut toxic people out of your life, even if they're family. And I don't think she adds anything for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's the reality here. You're writing in about Brenda being just this crazy person. And all you can do at this point is remove yourself.
Don't give her ownership.
No. And I think that like it's kind of a conversation you have with everyone that's in this group chat, as well, and say, you guys, like, we'll maintain the group chat if anyone wants to post in there for family events and things like that. But honestly, like, we need to all gray rock Brenda. Like, don't give Brenda any satisfaction of a heated response and like tune her out. Tune her out. It's time. Don't give her anything.
And I'm a little different than you. I'd let each individual family have their own relationship, and I wouldn't be influencing them to cut her out. I would just not buy into any of her shit and don't react to any of her shit.
Yeah, but I think that's a conversation you could have and say to someone, you know what, like, here's what I'm going to do going forward with Brenda.
You can do that.
And I just want to keep you on the loop because I think you all might benefit from some of these tactics. But like, to be honest, going forward, like, I'm going to engage with Brenda the least amount possible. And I think if she responds and says something in the group chat that triggers you, do your best to ignore it because we can't let Brenda win anymore.
That's right. Just don't. The simple answers.
They obviously are going to do what they want to do, but
look, don't give her the power. Don't give her your power. If anybody else wants to give them their power, that. Hey, bless their hearts, on for them. But remove yourself from giving the person the power.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
I mean, I haven't seen one of my uncles in how long have we been dating? 4 years. It'll be December, right? So I haven't seen him since that Christmas that blew up. I have not seen him in 4 years. Like, you can cut family out.
Yeah.
You don't have to give it. You don't have to give anyone the power.
It's not worth it. And like, for someone, Brenda's not going to change. And so for Brenda to mature, I think you even recognized, you said like, it's not going to happen. So you just need to, if you want to maintain the relationship with your brother, be as cordial as you can be, but don't engage.
Yeah, and she's on to it because she says, I don't think there's anything I can do except for not speak to her.
Yeah.
But my parents still want to see their grandson.
And let them have their own
That's their own
thing.
gig.
Yeah, and
let them deal with it.
I think a family group chat is dangerous.
Recipe for disaster.
That is dangerous. Like, sure, it seems like a good idea.
They got a big family too.
Right. And when you have someone like this kind of jump in, it's time to shut her down.
All right. I'm not giving Brenda any more power here. Let's move on to the next one.
It's not bye Felicia anymore. It's bye Brenda.
Yeah. I think family drama can be some of the most intense because of the fact that you're tied. And it's like, oh, you can't just walk away from it like it's a bad group of friends.
No.
But you can cut them. Yes, I agree. But I think the drama is more intense because people say, what are you going to do? I'm your blah, blah, blah. We're related. It's like, it's harder to completely remove yourself from them as it would be other like friends and such.
Yeah.
So, I think with Jerry saying just
don't give her the power.
Yep. And try to find ways to just limit that drama, which is her.
When you're in family, if you're at family get-togethers, don't give her the power. Walk away. Don't let her affect you. You gotta almost be like you're wearing a Brenda repellent. And I don't mean to be really to say you're rude to her. Don't
kill her with kindness.
It literally is give her 0.
Mm-hmm.
Not plus, not minus, 0. And when you give that to somebody, they get it quickly that there's an issue. And don't get mad. Don't let her trigger you. Don't raise your voice. Don't make faces. It really is the ultimate insect repellent. And she's an insect. She really is. Brenda the insect.
Yeah. Well, and I think for a lot of, obviously for us, we're very black and white right now. We're like, fuck Brenda, don't engage, cut her off. But I do recognize where there are a lot of pros and cons here. I want to have a relationship with my nephew. I want to make sure my mom's health isn't jeopardized. So there's a lot of cons to not involving yourself. And there's also a lot of pros. Better for your mental health. Better for everyone's health and mental well-being. I mean, this isn't black and white. And I think we recognize that. And I would say a lot of people have family drama and family dynamic issues. And there's a Brenda in every family. Like it's you can't escape the Brendas.
I would not declare war on Brenda.
No, and we're not.
Don't declare war on Brenda. Just literally don't buy into it.
Yeah.
Repel it. Just again, she's got to be transparent to you, because definitely of her children and your family connection. Because let me tell you, they start when this war goes on. The kids pick up what the parents have to say, and Brenda will have power over the family through that kid. And it's the last thing you want also. So you really must remain transparent.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one.
Cinco.
Okay. Last one.
Okay.
Cinco.
Number 5.
De Mayo.
Cinco.
De Mayo.
Remember our thing, Jerry?
That's German?
No.
What's German?
That's Cinco. Ein, drei, vier, fünf.
Remember the new thing, Jerry? Number 5.
Number 5. Fünf.
What's Hebrew?
Hey.
Hey, like a horse?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong on that one too.
Okay.
Hi, I would like to just start off by saying I love the pod.
Hey.
Now for my issue. I, 19 female, work part-time in an office for one of the top Fortune 100 companies at an entry-level position. I only mention this because their hiring practices are unique and they prefer a candidate with the ideal mindset over one with experience. I had been hired straight out of high school. With the lack of experience at the start, I've dealt with major imposter syndrome. Currently, I'm coming up on my 1 year with the company and I've been performing well. I got recognized as the employee of the quarter last month and recently got recognition from the regional manager. While I am thankful, I have been faced with some rude comments from coworkers suggesting I am undeserving. I am belittled for my age and get told that I lack life experience, and have been told I have only received recognition since I may be a manager's favorite. This has taken a toll on me as I have worked hard to continuously learn and improve. I run new initiatives for the office as well as help with monthly training. I've made it a fact to make sure my age did not affect my work. Should I start a conversation with the coworker who makes these comments? If so, how do I start a productive conversation? Any recommendations on how to not let these comments affect me? I know I am very lucky to have this job, and I am very thankful for my position.
You know, it's amazing when somebody who is young jumps in and really does well because they get it. And you're probably the favorite in your manager's eyes because you're doing exactly what they hired you to do. And that's be proficient at your job, growing, bringing new ideas, exactly why they hired you. They saw something in you. And the fact that your coworkers are insecure and jealous, don't buy into it. You can always say if you want, if you have something constructive to share with me, I would like to hear it. You must hold yourself to a higher caliber in the way that you communicate. You cannot resort to getting into pissing matches. That's only going to bring down everything that you've built up to be, the apple of your manager's eye. So if anyone is being negative to you, you're going to have to ignore it. Don't lower yourself to their level. Just perform and do the job that you're there to do. And that's probably the best thing that anyone can tell you. Getting in pissy matches with people to say, I'm better than you, or I'm doing this, and why are you such a bitch? And it's no way to, that's not true communication. That's just bringing yourself to their level and buying into their quicksand. It's pulling you in and it's going to destroy you. So you got to stay out of those sand traps and just, again, keep your focus, do what you do. And if they have a criticism, you can say, if you have a valid criticism, I'm glad to listen to it and consider your thoughts, and we'll see what happens. That's all you need to say. You don't have to get in the pissy match. And then you can decide yourself if what they have to say is really valid or not valid. I see Morgan's percolating.
Well, I don't think it needs to be a pissing match just to have a conversation with someone and say, like, hey, Susan, like, do you mind if we have a conversation? And I'm the least confrontational person, like in work especially. Like, I have a really hard time like confronting people in situations like this and speaking my mind. So I recognize how hard it might be to take that step. But I think you could say, hey, Susan, do you have a minute? Could we talk quick? And just say to her, I keep hearing your comments and I'm just wondering like where they're coming from. It's something that's really been bothering me because I feel like it's, not necessarily true. And I feel like I do work hard. And so I'm just wondering if we could have a conversation about those comments that you make, because I don't feel that it's very respectful to me. And I don't think it needs to become a pissing match. It really has nothing to do with her and her work. It's strictly about the comments, because I don't think our writer doesn't deserve those comments. And so despite doing such amazing work and continuing to prove herself again and again and again in this workplace, hearing those comments can be so draining and just so discouraging. And imposter syndrome is so real and something I still deal with when it comes to the podcast, and especially dealt with OT. I feel like there's always more to learn, and you're never, I don't know how to become super confident and not have somewhat of imposter syndrome. So I don't have advice there, but I think it's very unfair that she still would be subjected to that going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think this girl is badass because she
Such
says
a
most of my
baddie.
coworkers are in their 30 to 40 age range. I also go to school full time, which is my main priority. And I think the real key here, ideally, I get some tips on how to not let these comments diminish my attitude for work. When I receive these comments, I often lose my excitement for coming into the office. And I'm reminded of the story of the vet from the Unqualified episode, where you find these people that are so good at what they do that other people come and try and take them down, and they start to lose that passion, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Because these people are probably the best at these roles. All these old ass 30 to 40-year-old, makes me feel old, people are jealous. Yeah, but from her perspective,
Yeah.
are now super jealous because they're like, oh, well,
That's what it
I'm feeling
is.
inadequate because this girl is coming in and kicking my ass and she's 19.
Right.
And so they resort to the low
blow.
bar of going, you
Don't-
lack life experience, which has it doesn't have any life experience. Doesn't matter. If you're crushing your job, who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
So I can relate to this story, truly. And I'm going to say one more time, don't give them the power. That's
So no conversation at all.
well, she can certainly
Completely
say
ignored?
No, if the woman comes to her and says something, you can say, you know something, I'd love to hear your constructive criticism. And if you have something you'd like to share it with me, and I'll take it under advisement, and I'll see where I go with it. You don't have to go beg her to do anything to give her any power that way. The only way you're going to give her the respect is you're saying, I acknowledge the fact that you have something to say, and I'd like to hear it. That's a professional way of stating it. When I was in high school,
Can you just repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
I
You
said,
said it so well that I just really want to cement it in my own brain.
I said that is when you go to somebody and you say, I hear that you have suggestions for me. I would like to hear those suggestions so I can properly process it. And then I'll see how how it applies to me and how I'll implement it in my life.
Yeah.
That is a professional way of handling the situation.
Absolutely. And then when they have no suggestions, it's you're clearly being an insecure asshole.
Right. But
Yeah.
all you need to do is just rise above it and hold yourself higher to say, I'd like to hear your thoughts. And then I'm going to consider, what you have to say. That gives them a way of it looks, they can't deal with it.
No, it's a Jedi mind trick.
It's a Jedi.
It's literally a Jedi mind trick.
So that works. When I was 17 and I started working sweeping floors at a company at 13. My dad got me to work for one of his friends. And at 17, they got so busy, they said, can you go travel for us? Can you take possession of a factory up in Northern California? And I said, sure. So I went up to Northern California. I was 17 years old. And I couldn't even rent a car. I had to drive my car back and forth because I couldn't rent a car. I was too young. And I walked into this factory and took the keys, took possession, and they didn't know what they just thought I was the boss's son. And I said, no, I'm not the boss's son. I mean, I've been working, I started working them as a kid. Well, everyone else in the business that had my job level was 40 and 50 and 60 years old. And let me tell you, I went through this. And one guy who was my direct superior was very insecure where I was coming. And let me tell you, he bashed the shit out of me consistently. Everybody else at my level, some of the other guys that were mature and had sense, loved the fact that I would go to work and what I did because it made their life easier. And they were proud and they were pleased at what I did. But this one guy was my problem. And he bashed me about the third year, and we worked hugely on bonuses. And he bashed me against my bonus. And I said, I need to go talk to the the owner of the company, and I did. And I said, I have an issue with this guy, and he said, Max gave you a bad report. And I said, well, I find that everything. Here's what I did, and here's what the numbers are, and my performance was amazing, and everyone else certainly was very supportive. And I said, I'm not after Max's job, and that's what he's worried about. I'm after your job. I'm looking at growing in this company and have you groom me that I can really grow in this company to one day be able to sit in this chair years from now. He was 63 years old or 65 years old that day when I saw him. Mm-hmm. He said, honestly, when I die, this company's gone. And he did die a year later. Wow. Or actually, he was 60. He died at 67. And that was the day that he died, the company closed down. And it was sad because it was such an amazing opportunity to grow into.
Mm-hmm. It could have been a lot more.
It could have been a wonderful experience. So I was going there to work to be groomed. I wasn't going there for the money, even though I was successful at what I was doing for them. I wanted to be groomed. And I didn't care about Max.
So what happened with your bonus?
I never got the bonus that year.
Fuck Max.
Damn.
I didn't get the bonus. But you know what it did to me? It took my spirit away from the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
When I when I went and I had that conversation with him, and he said, "There's nothing he blew all my dreams, and I was the fact that when he was when he died, I mean, my father and I started a new business together after that, and we did our own thing. But it was sad because I knew that there was so much grooming and things I could have learned from him that it was sad.
Yeah. Which it like that and it taking your passion and your motivation and your enjoyment for the work, it took that away from you. That is literally what our writer said about the coworkers' comments. So it's so unjust and so unfair, and it truly is coming from a place of their own insecurity, their own jealousy. And as hard as it is, like, to not let it get to you, you really can't, because they are like,
you can't give them the ownership.
You can't. And it is truly coming from their own area of weakness and insecurity, and you're killing it. Like, to be employee of the quarter and a manager's favorite, like, they see the potential. Like, they probably look at you like a little prodigy.
Yeah.
So
your
just
your
soak
manager,
it all in.
Her manager
Absolutely.
There are great employers. There are great managers, and the employer that owns that business or runs that business or whoever's the next level up, so it has hired great management that they are able to look into other people and see that they're going to make a great employee. And these other people, you can't let them get in your way. Just do your thing and make the person that hired you as that manager as proud as they can be, because they stake their reputation on you as well. And that's the one that you really have to do this for you.
Coworkers are relevant.
Do this for you, and do this for the person that saw something within you, and make them shine to show that they were right with you.
Absolutely. And like, full-time student at the same time, seriously, badass. Like, don't give these crazy coworkers another thought.
Don't give them ownership.
Try to use it as fuel, honestly. Like, every comment, just let it motivate you. You're about to crush.
But but you can if they get in your face, you can definitely Jedi mind trick them, and you certainly should not ever engage in battle.
No.
I will tell you this: when you entangle a battle of wits with a fool in one, what have you won?
Nothing.
You want a battle.
Right.
You want a battle. You want a battle with a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will just say, like, if it does escalate further, you can always turn to HR. Like, some would consider this harassment, especially if it does escalate further. You know, you can make notes of it with HR. So you have options, but at this point in time, don't let it get to you, but know your options if it does escalate.
Stay professional. Yeah. Absolutely. Rise yourself to the highest level of professionalism.
Yep.
That's what I think. All right. That was it for us on this. And we have a Patreon after this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this week's Father Knows Something. And I hope that I knew something.
Maybe.
I have Daughter Knows Everything.
No, I don't know everything. I just know something too.
You know something too?
Yeah, but more than you.
I would say, though, too.
Just more than me.
I'm totally kidding. I don't. You definitely know more than me.
Well, and I like the amazing community we have going, and I would love for the YouTube comments to continue. And there's been so much help and so much we've missed through that we found in the comments. And I think even if you're listening on audio, if you have some advice to share, you can help some of these people. Jump over to the YouTube, drop in a couple comments, and I think it's really cool, the people we've been able to help, and just the notes we get from other people saying of how much we've helped them and how much just this entire community's helped. So I think it's beautiful, and we got to keep that going. Absolutely.
And everything is super easy to get to. Like, if you're listening to this on the audio side, there's a link for the YouTube right there in the show notes. If you are on our Instagram, Justin has a great link tree that has every link you could possibly need. So be sure that you are subscribed, you have your notification bell turned on, and follow us on Instagram, because we are going to be coming up with some cool stuff shortly, maybe some merch, doing some giveaways. So be sure you're following along for everything.
On that note, goodbye, and we'll see you at Patreon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.